Okay, so I've set up a little example here. So we've got two characters, and you can replace these names with anything you want. If your name is Wendy or Franco, trust me, I don't mean to be calling you out. But let's say we've got two people. They both have the same birthday. They both turned 20 years old today. So what are they going to do? Well, Wendy's going to say, you know what? I just saw a video on how to save for my retirement, and I think I'm going to get started. So what Wendy does is she says, I know I'm 20 years old today, and I know that it's a long time until I'm going to retire, but I want to get started now. So what Wendy's going to do is she's going to put $2,000 a year for the rest of her working life into a retirement account that earns, let's say, 7% interest. So maybe she invests in stocks or bonds or index funds or mutual funds or something, but she's going to earn an average of 7%. And that's actually a pretty fair rate of return. Maybe some years it'll be a little lower, some years it'll be a lot higher. But that sounds like a reasonable rate of return to me. So what we're going to do then is watch this math. If you're not a fan of Excel, just trust me, it works. If you are, then get in touch with me. I'd be happy to talk with you about it. But here's what's going to happen. She's going to take that $2,000 and earn 1 plus the interest rate. So at the end of the first year, she'll have earned 7% on that $2,000, or $140. Now she'll have $2,140. So what's going to happen for her in year 2? She's going to earn money on both what she put in last year and what she's going to put in this year. So we're going to add what was there last year and another $2,000, and she's going to earn 7% on all of it. So at the end of year 2, she'll have $4,430. We move on, year 3, year 4, year 5. We're going to go all the way through to her 30th birthday. At that point, she'll have $33,777 saved up. Now that's nice. Certainly not enough to retire on, but it's nice. Now at this point, Franco looks over and says, you know what, I think Wendy's got a right idea here. I'm going to start saving for my retirement. So Franco does at 30 what Wendy does at 20. Then Franco does at 31 what Wendy did at 21. Now let's say they're both going to retire at age 70. My question to you is, who's going to be better off, and by how much? Let's start with Franco. Let's see how much 40 years, so from age 30 to age 70, how much will 40 years do for my friend here? Wow, this is really starting to accumulate. Turns out that by age 70, he's going to have just a smidge under $460,000 in his retirement account. Not bad. But let's see about Wendy. Let's follow her path down. At the same time, at the same age, she will have more than twice. She will be approaching $1 million in retirement savings. And as you can see, the only thing she did differently is she started early. She started 10 years earlier. In fact, those first 10 years of Wendy's retirement saving, as you can see from the numbers here, matter as much as the next 40. So when I tell you that the best asset you have is your youth, this is what I'm talking about. Nobody's going to give you those 10 years back if you waste them. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to have $2,000 available to save for their retirement. What I am going to tell you, though, is that any amount that you can save up now is going to mean twice as much as if you put that amount of money in 10 years. This right now is the best chance you have to give yourself a stable chance at a good, safe retirement. The time that you have now is the best asset that you have. So if you believe me, then you may say to yourself, okay, how do I make this happen? Now, there are two ways. We talked about the IRA and the 401k. Both have their advantages. See, the 401k is one you need a job for, and it's one that your employer has to offer. But if you get the option for a 401k, one of the best advantages there is that your employer may match. In other words, your employer may throw in and say, hey, every dollar you put in, up to $2,000, up to 5% of your salary, I will also contribute 50 cents or $1. So essentially, the more you save for your retirement, the more your employer puts in as well. And that's a considerable advantage. But right now, what you can do, as long as you have income at all that you report on a tax return, you can start an IRA today. And there's a reason why I talk about the IRA so much. There are two ways you can structure it. You may have heard these terms before, but there are traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs. And I'm going to show you why, especially at this point in your life, the Roth is the better choice. See, here's the thing. Let me show you on our little spreadsheet here. We have traditional and Roth. Now, let's say that you're earning $30,000 a year, and you put this $2,000 into a retirement account. Well, here's the thing. If you put that money into a traditional IRA, it's what's called tax deductible. Now, I know we've got a tax expert talking in a separate video, but just a quick lowdown here. If an item is tax deductible, it means it reduces the amount of income that I pay taxes on right now. So if I'm earning $30,000 and I can deduct $2,000, then I get a little tax break because I'm only going to pay taxes on $28,000 this year. And that's how traditional IRAs work. Is right now, the contributions I make, they benefit me today. If instead I contributed to a Roth IRA, I'd get no benefit. I would instead be paying income taxes on the full $30,000. I get no tax breaks today. Sounds like a bummer, right? Sounds like that's a bad deal. But here's the thing. As we have seen, these amounts can grow exponentially over time. So here's the thing. In 50 years, when it comes time for you to make your withdrawals, will you pay taxes on them? Well, if it's a traditional IRA, the government's going to say, hey, wait a minute, you got a tax break on that money going in, but now you're going to have to pay taxes on it coming out. So in other words, instead of you paying taxes on the $2,000 when you were 20, now you're going to have to pay taxes on hundreds of thousands when you're a retiree. If instead it's a Roth IRA, the government may say, hey, wait a minute, we want to tax your retirement savings. You say, no. You taxed me when it was going in. You gave me no tax breaks back when I was 20 years old. Now that I'm 70 and it's time to retire, you don't pay taxes on Roth IRA distributions. So the question is, would I rather pay taxes on $2,000 when I'm 20 or on $200,000 when I'm 70? The smartest thing you can do right now with your money, as long as you're not going to starve to death to do it, is to set up a Roth IRA. You can do this at a bank. You can do this at a credit union. You can do this with a trading platform. Basically, anywhere you want to go, ask if they set up a Roth IRA for you. Ask your parents. Ask people you trust how to get this started. But the clock is ticking for you. And I don't want to sound alarmist, but your youth, again, is something you're not going to get back. And again, if you wait 10 years, you lose half of your muscle. You wait another 10 years, that muscle gets cut in half again. Now is the time to act on this. And I know you've got a lot of pressure on you from different financial enemies, so to speak. You may have student loans. You may want to be making rent payments. You may have other things going on that I don't even know about. But you've got to worry about yourself too. Nobody's going to look out for you the way you do. So when you're 70, what I hope you do is you look back and you think, I'm so glad that I made the right call when I was 20, and I sacrificed and I did what I had to do, and I set myself up. So now I can retire comfortably. It's going to give you peace of mind for the next 50 years, and you can't put a price on that. Good luck.